Hey you, I'm the Queen of Shade. Welcome to the interview. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit my Cash App to support your favorite content creator. Now let's get to the interview. Mwah.
Let me tell you something. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. You're a bougie bitch and your mama is too. Said you're a bougie bitch and your mama is too.
Salutations to foes. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming to you with another very special presentation, moving full speed ahead, getting to know some amazing people who do absolutely amazing things for the world and, shape ideas and culture. I am really enjoying, loving speaking to these types of people. I'm learning about them. They're learning about me. We all know this is not really an interview. It's a conversation. So having said that, I have someone very special that you need to meet today, but I'm going to read first and then we will introduce him. So it says, Aaron Johnson Levy created the concept for the house, motivated by the lack of role models he had growing up as a gender non-conforming boy. He envisioned this platform being a source of inspiration, learning, and healing for all people who yearn for soul freedom. He has a BA in psychology from Pomona College and a master's degree in community leadership from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem in Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to formally introduce you all to Mr. Aaron Johnson Levy. How are you?
Can you see the tears?
Oh, really already?
Already. Watching you read the bio about being a gender non-conforming boy and wanting to inspire and heal. And I saw your interview, your conversation with Antonio, and to hear what this show means to you. Yeah. This was the vision, this was the goal, was to create representation for people like us.
Yes.
And there's a lot to talk about, but I know that we have a lot in common. When you said last week, you said I'm a trans illusionist.
Yes.
Have you ever heard anyone else say that?
No.
That is what tells me you are living your most authentic life.
Yeah.
When you're doing something nobody else is doing.
Exactly. And you know what I love about even this situation is because sometimes, very rarely, when you don't even know you're being authentic, when you're not even aware, if you understand what I'm saying, aware of your authenticity, people come along and give it a name. I'm one of those people, and I'm getting goosebumps. I'm a shaman, so I don't know if they told you about this, but I go from spirit and stuff. So I'm one of those people where when I started, I didn't have the fancy names. I didn't have, what things were called. I just did them because they were in my soul to do. So I was performing, I was living, I was being. And then other people who saw what I was doing said, case in point, oh, you're a countertenor. That's your vocal classification. So I said, now mind you singing, I'm like, okay, I'm a countertenor. So then I adjusted my bio. Then someone says to me, oh, you're doing journalism work. I said, oh, okay. Then I adjusted my bio, now doing journalism work. And then finally, I don't know if you're aware or acquainted with him, but he's like my auntie. His name is Darnell Thomas. He's a media personality as well. he came and he came to this platform like this to lend his support and to have a conversation. And he said to me, Queen, crossdresser does not describe you. And that was the only term I knew. Now, mind you, I've been doing this since I was 8 years old. So I did research when I came of age. I'm looking and I'm learning that, okay, crossdressers are mostly straight men that like to wear women's clothing. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not trans. I'm not a drag queen. I'm a crossdresser. And then I would have to add in when I would speak, I'm a crossdresser, but I'm gay. And then finally, in the conversation with Darnell Thomas, he said to me, he said, Queen, you know what you are? I said, what, Auntie? He said, you are a trans illusionist. That's what you are. And he went on to explain, and he said, what you're doing, what you're being naturally, now you have a title for it. And we do have a lot in common. I said this before the camera came on. I said, look at us in our gold shimmery, we just, we were ready, we were ready. But I love how even with the show, The House, which is safely, I don't know why that word comes to me, safely in its second season, going strong and doing transformative, groundbreaking, and building work masterfully. It's like, I'm trying not to cry. I got a little choked up there because so many of us just do what feels so natural to us. And we get ridiculed for it.
Yes.
We get bullied for it. I've been battered. I've been beaten before. Thank God it was years ago, but you still carry the scar. And then platforms like this come along, and Mr. Levy, I'm going to say Mr. Levy because this is our introduction, and you are a mastermind, and I need you to understand that I respect you as such, because for you to conceptualize this, I don't even think you know yet what this show is doing and is going to continue to do. I wasn't acquainted with the show until I was asked to come on board for Pride Month and talk to the panelists. One of my dear friends, Stevie Boy, who's in the fashion community, the high fashion community, he designs clothing as well as celebrity eyewear. Everyone has worn his stuff, from Beyonce to Gaga to everyone. He said to me, oh, you have to see this show. It's called The House. And I'm like, and get it, he's very enthusiastic. You know how we can be, and he's very intellectual. So he's like, he starts breaking down what the show's about. He starts telling me what each person and their representation and who was on. And he's like, and I said to him, I said, Stevie, I call him Steven, but the world calls him Steven. I'm like, Steven, I was asked to talk to the panelists. He was like, no way. No way. Like, he was like, you have to see this show. So I started watching, and I can say it. Okay, I'm not gonna cry. It is so important because that's what I was gonna say before I got choked up. I'm one of these people, and we're very rare. I believe that we all make up the world, every genre, every nationality, et cetera, et cetera. But the heterosexual community has their community. And the heterosexual community does not have to go outside of their community for anything.
True.
So my thought was, and why I even came into fruition, was to preach this message that, not that we don't need you, but that we are well capable inside, internally. We can have our own stars. We can have our own forward thinkers. We can do our own things. We can build our own stadiums. We can have our own mainstream artists. It's not that we have to go to the heterosexual community anymore. And people were looking at me like I was crazy. And I'm like, listen here, let's just call it what it is. There's enough money in our community, because while we were getting bullied and stuff and not able to go outside and play with the boys the regular way, we was in the house using our brains reading. So there's enough money in our community. We don't need anybody else's community to give us a handout or a hand up. I was reading not too many weeks ago with this whole, and I'm not going to go into it very, very long because I'm not political, but it was basically Florida and Texas banning healthcare for trans children or children that identified as being trans, denying them treatment. And then our response was, oh, okay, well, we own these airlines, and these airlines will not fly to Florida or Texas. I was like, as a response, and many of today's artists, actors, people of importance, people of influence, they are held accountable because of our dollar. Look at what happened with some of our, I'm not going to name names, some of our entertainers. They said some disparaging things. Backlash was immediate. You can't do this. We're not going to allow you to do this. Then what happens? They have to issue public apologies, retractions, all these things. And I'm coming full circle back to you, because what I'm illustrating is we're no longer asking to exist. We're letting people know that we are here. And we're letting them know that we have power. We have power. And that we will exercise this power to help our own and strengthen our ranks. We have so many babies that are, listen, they don't even know that they're gay. They don't know what gay is. They're just gender non-conforming. That's it. Sexuality and identity, two different things. And you got boys that they like pink.
Yeah, I see us as pioneers. I don't see us as different. In fact, when you talk about communities, I don't even believe in communities. I believe that we are all the same. I don't believe in sexual orientation. I don't believe that there's a gay person and a straight person. I believe that we are all human and we are all attracted to other humans. And what we are taught from day one that we belong in boxes, little categories. If you have a little dangler, that's what I call it, between your legs, then you have all of these rules and regulations that you need to abide by. And if you have a little slit, then you have a whole different set of rules and obligations you need to follow. We're taught those things. I think that it's all a little bit of BS, or maybe a lot of BS.
A lot.
You know, and so when I see you saying, I'm not following someone else's path, I'm going to create my own path. You are a leader for the human species, for all of us. We can all say, you know what is my unique path, so that I'm doing something that nobody else is doing.
Yeah.
Cheryl Rich says this all the time. She says, we are all as unique as our fingerprint.
Mm-hmm.
It is so true that there's always going to be someone who's smarter, who's better looking, who's richer, stronger, faster, all the things. But there will never be someone who is identical to you. That is the only kind of something that you can hold on to that no one can take from you. I'm the only me. So when someone comes for me and they want to criticize me, I wish for that person to be able to look in the mirror and love what they see. Because if you did, you wouldn't have problems with other people. You would be forgiving, you would give grace, you would look past people's flaws because you can look past your own.
Yes. Yes. So profound, because that's why I started doing what I do. It took me, I'll be 40 in September. I entered the entertainment industry as a fashion model when I was 19. I went to Paris, and in Paris, I have a very unique, like you said, bone structure, very androgynous. There are notes of masculinity and there are notes of femininity in my body, like literally in my boning. And I remember them saying to me with no hesitation, no wavering in their voice, okay, welcome to Paris. You need to be over here doing the women's shows. This is the clothing you can fit. And because, like you said, religion, training from the family, this and that, this is what a man is supposed to do, even a gay man, because they had this, my family and my churches had this idea that if you're gay, well, you got to hide it. You can't be seen. You know, you're not talked about. So I went to Paris and they're telling me, you need to be doing the women's shows. Back then I couldn't put on the wig. I ruined my career because I couldn't put on the wig because I was so caught up in how it would look to people that were setting all of these rules and guidelines and normalities and formalities for me. And I left Paris not achieving the dream that I set out to achieve, only to work. And 17 years later, because I went to Paris when I was 22, started at 19. 17 years later, sitting in my abode, I'm sitting here and my message at first came with church hats because that's what my grandmother had. So she had over 100 hats. I'm changing hats. And the idea was you can wear many different hats and be the same person. And know my success. People knew me, but the damn success came when I put on the wig.
You know what? Your story reminds me of I always say, if I had gotten over my internal voices, you know, the voices of my family and community and friends and neighbors saying, you know, you can't do that or don't do that. You know, I grew up believing that the worst thing I could be is an effeminate man, an effeminate male. You know, I was told even from boyfriends, why do you walk like that? Stop switching. I'm not switching, I'm walking. Everyone had a problem with the way I was living.
Yeah.
And I was just, you know, a young person living. I didn't understand.
Yeah.
And so the one thing I said I can't do is shave my facial hair.
Yeah.
I said, because I started getting into makeup and wigs and I loved it all. But I said, if I shave my facial hair, I'm going to look in the mirror, put that wig on, and I'm never going to take it off.
Yeah.
And that fear is what kept me from ever really doing it. So I would have loved to, I'm a huge fan of drag. I feel like I tell people, if I had gotten over my issues, I would have been a RuPaul's Drag Race All-Star by now.
Right.
But I could have never, I could never shave. And that's the thing now. I shave, I put the wig, I put the makeup. If I say I want to be a woman today, I'll look like a woman, be a man. You know, I just do whatever I want, but it's taken me 40 years to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, it is so divine that you and I both, we start out and we have all of these things said to us that we have to try to keep up with. But the moment we stop people pleasing is the moment we are born. We're born in that moment when we no longer care more about what the person standing next to us has to say about us. And we care more about the person in the mirror that we are looking at. When that voice is the voice that silences all the others, there's no other word to say but magic. Magic happens. Magic literally takes place. And then to have my very devout, very Christian, very God-oriented grandmother single-handedly work as a teacher. So, you know, teachers don't make a lot of money, get her master's degree, and then save her entire retirement her 6 figures from her IRA. And then for her, now mind you, I come from a family where my aunts and uncles are all gay and lesbian, all of them on my mother's side, but they could not, they don't like themselves. They figured if I don't live like that, then I'm not. God loves me, he hates the sin. It's this, that, all this programming. And I came along and naturally I was ridiculed because I said, I'm going to be me. God loves me. He made me this way. And I'm like, and they're like, well, how do you know that? I'm like, because he told me. I was in a park in Paris and God said to me, sweetheart, you know that you're gay, right? Get it? That's the good part. The sad part was that I started screaming and hollering like I was having a nervous breakdown. The French people are in the grass and they're like, Madame, are you okay? Are you okay? I couldn't even answer them. It was just the release of so much junk and so much hatred and the beatings and the being chased home from school and all of that. And I said to God, what am I gonna do? And just as quick as he told me, he said, we'll deal with it. I got up, went back to the flat where I was staying. 17 years later, we've never had a conversation about it again. Never. Talked to him about all kinds of things, my business practices, people, things, places I want to go. Never again has the divine ever brought up my being homosexual in conversation ever again. And he let me know there was nothing to discuss.
And that there's a lot there for a person like, even me. I was also very religious. I went to seminary. I was going to be a minister as a career. I was more religious than my religious family.
Yeah.
That they thought I was crazy.
Yeah.
They were like, you're doing too much. I was in church every day of the week in every ministry, and I would do street evangelism.
Yeah.
I even used to go to West Hollywood with a tambourine and playing gospel music and passing out flyers with my testimony saying that I used to be gay and I've been delivered, and that whole thing.
Yeah.
And that has been one heck of a journey, because you can really learn some self-hatred.
Yeah.
In that space, but you can also come out of it, kind of keep holding on to the good stuff and letting go of anything that doesn't make sense or that doesn't fit.
That's what I learned. I learned that in life, we don't just take what we're given. We are here like to sift. This works for me. This doesn't work for me. And I was speaking to Antonio. He said his grandmother told him, Grandma don't have all the answers. Take what applies to you and leave the rest. She allowed him to think for himself.
Yeah.
And now, and this is the thing, because now I'm gonna bring it in, because we talking and we're just soul to soul right now. But I want them to understand this is the person that you said you're out there, you're evangelizing, you're very religious, your own family thinks you're crazy, you're going to seminary in Israel, mind you. In Israel. So I knew it was serious. Even when I read it, I said, oh, wow. And then you go from that. And then it's like, but God, you're still using me to form ideas, to help people find you and themselves. And then you form the concept for the house. Now here we go. Please tell me what, in your words, because I read the bio, but what did the concept mean to you? How did you birth it?
Well, if I'm very honest, it actually was not the first plan. It was essentially a backup plan. I was driven to be a role model, create representation, I always say I wanted to be the person I never saw growing up. That was 100% my motivation for dropping out of my PhD program and pursuing Hollywood. I left my PhD after I completed the whole program. All I had was one thing to do, my dissertation. And I said I could do that, or I could follow my heart.
Yeah.
And in the time that it takes me to complete my dissertation, my whole life could be different in Hollywood. You know, it may be a pipe dream, but I have to go with what's in here. If my heart's not in it, my dissertation is going to be crappy anyway.
Yeah, see, people don't realize that. They go through the motions and they're like, oh, well, it's not quality. It's like, yeah, well, you never wanted to do it from the first place, in the first place.
Right.
Please continue.
So I pursued Hollywood, and I said, what am I going to do? I've been an actor my whole life, and I started doing auditions, and I landed my first movie role in a film with people I had grown up watching: Paula J. Parker, A.J. Johnson, Rodney Perry, Omar Gooding.
Yeah.
You know, so I landed a big role in there, but I thought that was going to be my big break.
Yeah.
But not many people saw the film. It's on Amazon Prime. It's a funny film called Hey, Mr. Postman.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my big break.
Yeah.
So I said, but gosh, that was the role I wanted. I played a flamboyant gay guy.
Yeah.
That was what my dream was, you know. So I was trying to do kind of what Blaine Edwards and Antoine Merriweather did, you know, Damon Wayans. Yeah. and who was the Damon Wayans, and who was the other
Keenan?
Not Keenan, it was David Allen Greer.
Yeah. David Allen Greer. Yeah.
So those were the only two kind of queer Black men I ever saw growing up. So I said, I want to be those types of characters, but not as a joke. I want that to be, because that's what I do in my, you know, in my private time. You know, I put the costumes and the hair and the makeup. So I said, I want to be that authentically. And so having the chance to do that, but having it not turn into much, was like, well, what do I do now?
Yeah. And
so I said, well, let me write a story with that character in it. So I wrote a whole TV series centered on a queer Black character that's a drag queen wannabe. And it's about these kind of traumatic events that happen to that person. Yeah. And something happened in the news that pretty much was a mirror image of what my script was about. Right. And so at that point, it was like, they're going to think that, you know, we ripped these from the headline. And so it kind of killed the project. And it had gotten to a top Hollywood producer, the producer, Jimmy Kimmel, who's our executive producer of the house.
Yeah.
He had the script. He was like, I like the LGBTQ space, but the script needs some work. So that, you know, while I was doing the revisions, that's when the thing happened in the news. So we actually sent him an email saying, stand down on Out. That was the name of the script. It was called Out. Yeah. So we said, stand down. And then Cheryl was the person. Cheryl is a good friend of his. And so I said, let me come back with a new idea. Yeah. And then I started putting it together like a puzzle. Yeah. I said, okay, well, what are the pieces that we have here? We have a TV producer who says he likes the LGBTQ space. Okay, so let's make it an LGBTQ TV show. Mm-hmm. He's an expert at creating talk shows. That's his bread and butter, is talk shows. So let's make it an LGBTQ talk show. Yes. The script I was writing was centered on a Black character. So let's center it on the Black experience. Yes. I went to culinary school. Yeah. So I said, I can throw food elements in and talk about food in different ways. So let's make it a dinner party. Yeah. And I was also inspired by my close queer circle that I hang out with. They're very similar to me, kind of gender queer, gay Black guys. Yeah. And we get together and we talk about absolutely everything. We talk about who we slept with, who we didn't sleep with, how good it was, how horrible it was. We talk, we drink it all, and we put wigs, makeup, costumes. It is just the most fun. Yes. And so I said, what if we could capture that on camera? Put all of that together in a document, send it over to Doug, and he called back almost immediately. Wow. And said, I like this. Let's start on it. It took us about 3 years from that moment. Wow. Make it to air.
And see, that's what people don't understand. once you conceive and you're pregnant, you still gotta carry it to term. You still gotta carry it to term. 3 years, but you know what? It made it. And when I tell you, Mr. Levy, you're changing lives.
But I have to, I can't take too much credit because,
Oh,
I'm only giving you the very beginning of the process.
yes,
And then there's 3 years of material that I'm leaving out.
yes,
And so, I have to shout out Kurt T. Jones,
yes,
who was the next piece of the puzzle that came in after Doug.
yes,
He's the showrunner, he's the director, editor, he has a team of people that he pulls in. It is that team of people
yes,
that produces the house.
yes,
So I take credit for that concept because I put it in a document, gave it to Cheryl. Cheryl loved it. Cheryl gave it to Doug. But the putting together a TV show, I can't take credit for that.
Oh, we've all heard this old adage, it takes a village. It takes a village.
The whole film industry, I can't think of anything more collaborative than film and television.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Because it's just, there are so many. And what I love is every person involved is there because they see something.
Mm-hmm.
And it's different from the person next to them.
Mm-hmm.
That person does this, and then they do this, and then they do this, and then it's truly a place where you can have a specialized set of skills and be accepted for that. Different.
And one thing I didn't realize from season 2 to season 1 is, I was shell shocked season 1. I couldn't believe what was going on.
Yeah.
So I was just, that was the whole season. And then coming back season 2, I got to interact more with the crew and got to hear some things. And one thing that I heard that opened my eyes is the idea of the Hollywood dream.
Yes.
And we think of the Hollywood dream as you move out to Hollywood and you get discovered and then the whole world knows your name.
Yeah.
But there are people whose Hollywood dream is not to have everyone know their name,
right,
but to make important films and important television, stuff that inspires them, stuff that they enjoy. That's their dream.
Yes.
And so I'm sitting on this set and I realized that I'm a part of their dream.
Yeah.
And so there was this whole different synergy I felt.
Yes.
And I miss them. I miss being on their turf.
Yeah.
That's their turf.
Yeah.
The film set, the TV set.
Yeah.
That's their set. I'm a guest on there.
Yeah, but you know what? That's humility. You came to do a job. This job is bigger than you. And now you're seeing it come true. Listen, everyone I've spoken to about this show is absolutely insanely in love with it. Let's say everybody involved, you guys are doing your jobs more than you think, more than you will ever know. You guys are doing such monumentally groundbreaking work. It's that good. It's that good. So tell me, were you involved in selecting the panel?
I would say it was a team effort, but overall, I guess the overall gist would be, I had my creative, as the creator, my vision of what the panel should look like. And then the showrunner had a different vision of what the panel should look like. And in the end, we merged the two.
Yeah, you had to merge them. Yeah. You had to marry the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I advocated for Cheryl and then Kurt advocated for Chris and Antonio, and he brought those two. And we are kind of, and even audience members, they sense a connection between me and Cheryl and between the two of them, between Antonio and Chris.
Yeah.
And it's like, how does that happen?
Yeah.
But there's some sort of connection that the two of us have, that we're kind of on the extreme of something and they're on kind of the other extreme. And that's why it works.
Yeah. So let me just side bar real quick. The food, because Antonio said this in his interview. He was like, don't leave out that we get to have amazing meals. So Okay, because I'm going, let's look at where my mind is going. So the show is about an hour, right?
Yes.
So the food must have been being prepared all day before you film.
Oh,
How do
yeah.
you guys arrive at, like, are you doing the menu? Who's doing the menu?
Oh, the Chef Sean, and he has a team, and they are working. It's a, it's a production.
That's why I keep asking you these questions, and I love that you keep giving me that answer. You're like, this is bigger than me. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than me. Do you know, even right now, you have so many young up and comings that wish they had that kind of support, but they get to see it represented on your show on television Friday nights, because they get to, and it gives them hope that I can take my gay ass to Hollywood. Like, I mean, seriously, like, because even me, I've had, over the years, I've had offers, and I knew this person and I met this person, and I was terrified of Hollywood because I felt like they wouldn't understand my gayness and my need to be, I won't even say my gayness. I will say I felt that they didn't understand my spirituality, my need to be all of this. I felt that it would be kind of like we hear, you sign on, and then next thing you know, oh, well, we want to change this. We want to change that. And instead of dresses, we're going to put you in really nice French suits. They're still fitting, but they're more masculine. I didn't want to go through that.
Right.
So, I'm going to ask the question, because this is big business, do you still see that the hopes, the dreams, the integrities of being non-gender conforming and it truly being a show for these type of people, do you see that being adhered to?
Well, I have a few things. The first thing that came to mind as you were speaking was the dream wasn't to show people, come to Hollywood and you can make it too. My personal dream was to show people you can succeed by not compromising who you are.
Okay.
Whether it's in Hollywood, whether it's at the bank, whether it's in academia, whether it's anywhere, because from birth, I was told I needed to change in order to succeed in this world. Little boys can't dress, act, talk like that and make it in this world. And that is what I went on a mission to disprove.
Yes. And you did it. And I love it because I have two nephews that I helped to raise. One's 21, and one's 29. And they moved out and they're starting their lives. And it's the same thing. They're heterosexual, but I tell them all the time, like, because they get stuck in their heads because I'm supposed to act this way and I'm supposed to do this and I'm supposed to do that. And they'll say to me, I never knew that I'd learn how to be a real man from a gay man. That's the praise that they give me. But it's like, because I showed them, I'm like, baby, it's not about being gay. Being a man is about setting goals, obligations, and responsibilities, meeting them and following through. At the end of the day, just follow through with what you set out to do. Make sure you're accountable not only to yourself, but your community. Make sure when you say and you give your word that you're going to do something or show up, that you show up and you do it. Follow through. A man, follow through. That's what it is about. Women, and I love what you said when we first started, because women can do this too. So then gender really doesn't matter.
And I always like to shout out that, I blend everything. I don't believe in communities, as I said earlier. I don't believe in sexual orientation. I don't believe in race.
Yes.
I believe that we are told that we are a race.
Yes.
But we're all a blend of each other.
Yep.
And so that applies with even sex. I think sex is a blend. We're a blend of female and male. We all begin as female, and some of us, the chromosome switches and then we turn into a male, but then some of us end up with certain body parts that are both male and female. And so they have difficulty identifying, do I identify as man? Do I identify as woman? Some say, no, I'm intersex. Some say, no, I'm going to choose one or the other. But it's all a blend. And I think if we can't acknowledge that we're all a blend, then at least provide a third category and acknowledge a third category.
Yes.
So if you're talking about men and women and third category, intersex, non-binary or something, just I don't know what the name should be, but I don't like the binary. I don't like that you're either man or woman. I
Yeah.
don't like that
It's not true.
because I don't think it's true. That's why I don't like it. I think we're a blend of female and male.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. And I speak from experience. I do this and I don't have to put on. That's one thing I love. I love dresses and hair and makeup and things. And I wear them and I adorn them. And my mannerism, as you can tell, is very graceful, very this, very that. But when I'm not dressed like this, I'm in a backwards baseball cap, tank top and shorts. I go to the gym. I'm working out. I run. I play with my nephew. Like it's not, it's spaces and I just fill each space the way I want to. That's what it is. And people will write me and they'll say, but Queen, your naturalness is just so, it's effortless. Are you sure that you don't want a transgender? And I'm like, for why? Why? For what? I'm like, I love the transgender community, but why are you having such a hard time explaining me to yourself? So you need me to go a step further so that your mind can feel like, oh, I know what this is. That's not me, baby. That's your problem. That's not my problem.
It reminds us that there isn't space in a lot of people's minds for us. And that's what we're doing. We hear this term holding space and talking about space, but this is a very literal thing that's happening that we are doing by being visible. We are creating space in people's minds to be able to understand, perceive, and interact with us.
Yeah. And this is what this show, The House, is doing, because get this, there was a time when certain rural or Bible Belt pockets of America only saw Black people on television.
Mm-hmm.
So if that was that way with Blacks, you have some people that have never laid eyes on a queer person.
Mm-hmm.
So once again, and get it, I love it because television has always been a safe way to learn through the screen.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they get upset, whether they reject it, whatever, it's a safe way to introduce a new idea, television.
It absolutely is.
Yes, and I noticed that, just with all that's going on with time and the dispensation of where we are, it's time for this. We've had artists that were queer or identified as such, but now it's like, oh, the first openly out rapper and singer, and we're looking and we're celebrating him. And at the same time, and one thing, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about Lil Nas X.
Of course, yes.
Yes. And I love him. This is what I'm talking about. I see straight men tear up when they talk about him. Straight, and I mean, let's go there. Black men tear up when they discuss the revolution that he has started and is at the helm of. They're like, man, and get it, it boils down to this. He's confident enough to be himself. And it's the same way. Listen, I would have never thought that Hollywood would have greenlit a show like this.
Well, it was very, very difficult. And your suspicion is right. It was way more difficult than we even imagined.
Okay.
I thought they would jump all over it, and they were like amazed. I mean, everyone in Hollywood had a glimpse at it before it got greenlit. Yeah. And they were like, it's amazing, but it's that big but. And what's the but? What is the but?
Yeah.
What is the but?
Yeah. See, and people like, it's so great because a show like this, you guys are top tier. You know, I was talking to Thornell at the Ovation Agency, and he was telling me, he's like, it's on such and such a sound stage, and like, get it. This is not, you know how to say off Broadway? This is not off Hollywood. This is a real Hollywood show. Like, this is real. Like, this is in Tinseltown. Like, it is not, you know how they say, oh, come to a concert of such and such, and it's outside the city limits. It ain't really approved. And they're like, oh, you know, no, this show is approved. This show is happening on famous sound stages. It's being recorded and filmed and directed by the best of the best. And it's just like, it makes you hope. It makes you hope. That's what it's doing to me.
I think we're still, though, trying to find our audience.
Yeah.
I don't think we've fully found our audience yet.
Yeah.
I think that I know people who are heterosexual identifying, white,
yeah,
you know, middle class people that love the show.
Yes.
And that probably was not a part of the vision of who the show is going to appeal to. But then when I look at, you know, the young queer errands of the world, I don't think they have a clue that our show exists, or they want to watch it.
Yeah.
So I think what's happening is, what we're doing is we're making life better for the little queer errands and Cheryls and Antonio and Chris's of the world by touching the family members.
Yeah.
And hopefully those family members will respond differently to little queer Aaron and Chris and Cheryl. And that way they will be able to blossom as who they are and not be told, you've got to become something else in order to make it.
You know what's crazy? Even when you said that, when you said, oh, I don't think we found our audience, what popped into my head were mothers.
Mm-hmm.
Mothers are watching too.
Mothers. Oh, yeah.
Because it's teaching them how to deal with their gender nonconforming children. Because get it, a mother knows before anybody else does.
Mm-hmm.
A mother knows. A mother knows my baby is different. My baby expresses himself differently. So then they, like, there was a video on TikTok that went viral, and she was like, you know, for all the men that wear makeup and dresses, please keep doing it, because you're teaching me how to, you know, raise my son and understand him. And she was Caucasian. And, you know, then she showed the son, she's in the dressing room with him. It was an experience, because he's there, and she's like, well, if you like it, we can get it. And he was like, he was like, but I love it, but I don't want to get it. And she was like, why? And he said, because they tell me that I want to be a girl, but I don't want to be a girl. I just want to wear this dress. That's what he said. And he was young, you talking 4 or 5? He said, I don't want to be a girl. I just want to wear this dress. And in that moment, I was like, they get it. They're starting to get it. I don't want to be a girl. I just want to wear this dress. You know, I just want to play with my hair. So tell me, you sit, and how did the idea, because you guys are off, the panel by itself is already amazing. So how do you select the guests that come on and speak to the community? Because what you're doing too, this show is introducing us to members that are gay, non-conforming. We didn't know all of these people. And now these people are coming on, and we're learning, oh, this person is gay, this person is queer, this person is trans, this person, like the guest, you know, and what I notice is these guests are mavericks in their own right. They're trailblazers and rock stars. And I'm like, well, where the hell was I that I did not know this person? So the show is introducing those types of people. So I love the idea that the show continues. It's in the 2nd season. So there continues to be a plethora of guests like this. You know, you're not running out of guests. There are moguls and mavericks that fit this diaspora, and it's like amazing. But how do you find them? Because some of them, like I knew Imani Van Zap, and I knew Bevy Smith as an ally, but there were some of the men, because there was some of the men, like the man that was just on recently. I was like, I don't know him. But I was like, I'm going to watch this show to get to know him. Like, how do you guys go about guest selection?
Well, that's also a team effort. That's an easy answer. It's, we all probably have people that we want on that will throw names into the ring,
Okay.
and we'll try to get some, and some we don't get, and so we just, if you can't get them, you can't get them, and then we just kind of see who's available, who has responded, and go from there.
Yeah.
But I have to respond before we go from this, because it was affecting me, and I didn't want to just spit something out, so I was processing it, letting it marinate, and so now I have to say it because it comes up a lot, and I've never been able to articulate it.
Okay.
But a lot of times when I'm talking to other queer Black people like myself, and there's this almost celebration that we don't want to become female or a girl. And so it always makes me just a little uncomfortable. And I just want to be clear that if a boy wants to be a girl, that's absolutely okay, because I'm a boy wants to be a girl. But I also sometimes I want to be a boy.
Okay.
So that whole fear of, you can put on a dress, you can have sex with other guys, but don't be trans. Don't.
Right.
I don't ever want to perpetuate that.
No. I'm glad you said that. No.
Because Shia Diamond said, and also Gracie Cartier, who was a guest on our show, said, if you want to identify as trans, you have permission to do that.
Yes.
And so there are times when I say, oh, I'm trans, I'm under the trans umbrella, I'm gender nonconforming. And so that whole desire to be a girl, I resonate with that, and I never want to look down on it. So.
And that's what, and I'm glad that you even said that, because these feelings, they don't just happen out of the blue. These feelings are soul feelings. You know in your heart and your soul what you are. And I truly believe that the trans experience is just to help you kind of beautify on the outside what you see and feel on the inside. People want to make it about surgery and this and that, and it's not. And if you want, and like you said, and if you want to have the surgery, you can. Like that. I love what you're doing and what you're saying. You're removing all limitations.
Yes.
All stereotypes, all boxes, all bags, all fences. And that is so amazing. Have you guys had trans?
Absolutely.
So somebody on the panel aren't they trans?
No. Well, I like I said, I identify.
You identify. Okay, it's you. Okay, no, I have to keep up, because I have what you're saying, and then I have what other people are saying about the show, and so I can ask great questions. So I'm like, okay, it's you that identifies as trans on the show. Oh, great. Okay, yes. Okay, good. I'm talking to the right person.
under the trans umbrella.
Under the trans umbrella.
I don't live the trans experience.
Right.
So I don't. I don't know what that is, but I look up to it. I admire people who go against the grain and listen to their soul. That is inspiring to me.
Yes, absolutely inspiring. And there's nothing more freeing and fulfilling than just being able to be yourself. Just being able to, just
like when you're a kid, when you're such a little kid, you don't have the rules of the world on your shoulder.
Nope.
You just exist. That's what my adult life has been trying to get back to that purity of heart and soul, where I'm not tainted with trying to be manipulative, without trying to gain something from someone, money or power, or have sex, or all of that corruption that we go through as adults. Kids don't have that, and I'm trying to purify my heart so that I can just be a pure soul in this world.
And I sense a lot of purity in you. I sense a lot of that, and it's I don't want to say the word innocence, but innocence. I don't want to say the word innocence, but I
Because I'm not so innocent. Right. I get that. And it's,
you know, but it's not even about even not being it, but look at this. You can be innocent when you want to be. And then you can be something else when you want to be. You see? It still is the work and the way that you believe. And we like this show, it needs to permeate everything, because they're told, well, if you're gonna be innocent, you're gonna be this way. Or it's like, no, when do you not understand? What don't you understand that at 6:41, I felt like being innocent. And at 6:45, I was naughty as hell. Like you get, like, do you see what I'm getting at? Like, do you see what I'm getting? It's the removal of all.
no boxes. We are out of the box. We are free to be what we want to be when we want to be it.
Yes.
And as long as we can give ourselves that grace and freedom, then we can give it to others.
Yes.
It starts in the mirror.
Yes. Now, question: how is the rest of Hollywood receiving you guys on this panel and your show? Because you know they're watching. They're watching. They're on their way to their sound stages, and they see this. They see you guys over there. They smell the food. How are they responding to you?
That is, it remains to be seen. I haven't seen it. I don't know how they're responding. I would love to know who's watching. What are they saying?
Yeah.
I just don't know.
You know, that's one of the things that always frustrated me too, because, you know, I chose a career on the internet for my safety. This is why I do it this way. It's for my safety, because there are a lot of people in the world that do not believe in this. And I no longer want to be in a situation where I get punched in my face or brutalized, or where I've even had heterosexual men have their young children attack me. So it's been something. And with me being 40 years old, I'm like, okay, I got to do something about this. So that's why I do this in my space, where I can control what happens to me. So my thing is, what I've learned about even being on the internet is that you never know who's watching. They're like, you never know you never know. And it's like, and sometimes it can be very scary, because you don't know who's seen it, who hasn't seen it, and what they think. So my thing is the fact that this is in Hollywood. This is real. Like, has that sank in with you yet? Like, that this is real? This show is happening. You're in your second season and you're doing amazing things. This is real. People are watching. You're in your second season. Like, you just say, like, I don't know. And that's true, because you don't. You really don't, you know? But it's still valid. This is being seen. This is season 2. Okay? And season 3 will come, season 4 will come. Like, come on. Hollywood does not continue to keep a show on that does not do well.
I think it deserves awards. I think it deserves an Emmy, a GLAAD award, an NAACP award. I think it is everything that you're saying. I absolutely do.
Yes, I agree. I second that. And I third it as well, because it like, literally, when we first started this conversation, I had to try not to ruin my makeup, because I was like, oh my God, you know, this show, like, I just got to keep moving on, because when I think about it, but isn't that amazing that the ones of us that had to grow up under the conformity, like, we're sitting there and it's so, like, the anxiety is so high, but we're watching you guys be free, and we're like, go, you know, because we didn't get that opportunity. And now it's like, you know, and listen, there's still a lot of people that watch the show that haven't yet seized their opportunity to run away and be themselves. So they're watching you and they're like, go. And one day they're going to be watching and hear the exact point that they need. And they're gonna say, that's it, I'm out of here. They're going to leave whatever they're doing, and they're going to go live their lives, the pursuit of their own happiness. Yes. I can't, it makes me want to cry. It makes me want to cry. God, because it's just that powerful. It's just that powerful. We like, I love doing what I do, and I speak to so many people because if I can help somebody reach the decision that, listen, I matter more than anybody else, my happiness matters more than someone not liking me, then I, like, literally, I could die a happy camper. Like, I'm a part of that conversation. It's you can be, just be. For, don't worry about labels, like you said. Don't worry about what you got to wear. Don't worry about, what you got, where you got to go. Just be you. And I love what you said, because this show is unlocking spiritual power and prowess all over the world. So like you said, the young person, like, and this is the thing, because I said it to Antonio, and he was like, go ahead, Queen, say it, because I see this show being a world show. A world show. So that little boy in Russia who can't be himself, and he gets this program, and he may not be able to openly do it, but when he can pull his blinds, he can lock his door, and he can run around that house with his wig on while he watches your hour show, that will mean the difference between life and death to that young man. It's that powerful. Just like, because let's face it, these conformities are pretty strong. They're pretty strong.
And everybody feels it.
Yes. And it is an uphill climb and a battle to the death with these norms and these things that are packed onto us. But it's like every now and then a moment where you can just and be yourself and let that butterfly's wings just unfurl. And that's what this show is doing. I can't wait to see what happens and how you guys are rewarded for because look at this. You guys are being brave. You guys are up there on this show. Your faces are there. And it's like, so then you go to the grocery store and they're like, he's on that show, The House. Like, like he's on that show, The House. Like, and it's just like, you're like, oh God, like that's where you're headed. Noah's Ark was that way. Noah's Ark revolutionized the whole community of the world. And when I say community, I mean world community. This show, we've never, listen, we ain't never had a show like this before. And I had to say it like that. I couldn't pretty it up. I had to say, we ain't never, okay? We ain't never had a show like this before. And this show is just, it's so good. It's so good.
So there's some more episodes this season. Definitely want to watch.
Okay, what can we look forward to? What can we, give us a little hint. What can we look forward to as the show continues its season 2?
Well, we're heading into Pride Month, so we're going to have some special Pride Month episodes. And then the finale, I believe, is at the end of Pride Month, which is going to be very different. Just the upcoming episodes, there's a lot of things that we haven't seen in the first 2 seasons.
Yeah.
So I don't want to, spoil anything, but I'm thinking of, I know one episode is going to be just like, whoa, that was different. And then I know the finale is going to be like, whoa, that was different.
Yeah.
So.
Will you guys be participating in World Pride in New York?
World Pride. I did not know about World Pride. They
call it World Pride, but it's New York. It happens in New York City. It's okay. The Pride Parade. Like, I would love to see, I usually don't go, but I would love to see a float or something from you guys with the house.
I believe the house does have a float in LA Pride.
Okay.
I'm going to be at DC Black Pride.
Okay.
I don't know if this will be released by then. This is gonna be next this weekend. So probably.
You talk about this?
Yeah.
This is going out tonight, sweetheart.
Oh, okay.
I don't listen. I don't sit on the hot coals. Okay. This is hot. This, like, literally, after I hang out with you, I will start literally at the beginning and the end. And it's, what is it? This thing will be out by 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Yes, like I don't sit because literally it's reaching souls. It's reaching souls. Like, that's why I asked, because it would be lovely to see you guys on a New York float They call it World Pride, but the four of you up there promoting the house and, just kind of riding through, and people see the name, the house, because that's why you guys are doing all of this press. It is to get more eyeballs and things like that, because you deserve them. You deserve them. The show is, like you said, it's award winning. It literally is worthy. It's award worthy.
We're growing into more than just entertainment. There's a lot of philanthropic activity to look forward to as we move forward to season 3.
Yeah.
So expect just bigger, better, and just out the box things that you've never seen any TV show do before. We're trying to change the world here for real.
And you're doing it. So I'm like, you're doing it. So I'm just like, don't scare the executives. Because listen, you ain't wearing that crown for no reason. Like, don't scare the executives. I'm like, don't scare the executives. Don't have them up there. But Antonio said he loved that after it was over, the production team would come to them like, what's an otter? What's a bear? Like, they were interested in learning. So the show has that learning appeal. And like I said, please, mothers are watching this because mothers got to deal with their sons. Yeah, mothers are watching this. Please, you got daddies watching this too. Yeah, you got daddies watching this. And it's just like, and it's just going to continue to grow. It's just so, I'm just, you know what it is? It's crazy because you hear people say it and then it sounds surreal, but I'm so happy to be alive at a time such as this, when there is programming coming out of Hollywood like this.
I agree.
It's not off Broadway, like it's not, no, this is coming out. We sanctioned this. We're green. This is us. This is what we want the world to experience. And it's just so beautiful to literally be sitting here talking to you about that. So listen, we didn't really go deep into you because it was just, the show means so much to me. So that's why I stayed on the show, because it really is. We got to learn you through this as well, because you shared a lot of very, very dear points. But question, how's your family receiving it? Because you talked to me about your family. Okay. That's all I needed. So moving on very quickly, give me 3 words that inspire you, empower you, and give me why.
3 words that inspire me. I'm going to say, well, the Gesundheit is the
Thank
first.
you. I was trying to hold it in. I did not. I'm like, listen, I'm not gonna ruin my show now. Like, I ain't ruin my show with a sneeze. Oh no. Yeah.
I'm going to say one word I talked with Cheryl about recently is she was saying something about, if someone has a problem with me, then pray for me, but don't bring it to me. I don't even want to hear it. Yeah. And I said, but I don't have a problem with saying, I'm a work in progress, or there's growth always to be had.
Yeah.
I said, I don't even mind the word growth. I like the word growth.
Yeah.
It sounds nice, and growth.
Yeah.
It makes you feel good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, it's so deep. It's like the divine created this thing called growth.
Yes.
It is like the essence of life itself is growth.
Yeah.
It is such a powerful concept.
Yes, it is. It is. It also signifies abundance, and that there will be more.
Mm-hmm.
That there will always be more. We're always growing.
And when we stop growing, that's when it's time to go.
Yeah.
And I'm not ready to go. So I will always have room to grow, things to learn.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. Yeah. So 2 more words.
I'm going to say faith is an important word to me, because I've been taught so many things about what God is, and higher powers and this and that.
Yeah.
And most people who know me very well would know that at my deepest core is a person, a soul, a being that is very much connected to a higher being.
Yes.
And that is the most important relationship in my life.
Yes.
And so there's been many highs and many lows, many words against me and many words for me and all kinds of things, but none of it matters to me as much as my interconnection with my higher power.
Yes.
And it has gotten me through moments where I'm sleeping with my head on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Or moments when I'm completely lost in the middle of a dark street and I don't know where I am.
Yeah.
I had to believe and pray and pray, help me, guide me, save me.
Yeah.
You know, so those things often are not something you expect from someone who's flamboyant. And I'm going to call myself a reformed hoe.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. I love that word.
Now, I don't know how reformed I am, but let's just say I'm a reformed hoe. Okay.
Well, here we go. Pray for me because I'm not. Yeah, I've been celibate 10 years, but I plan to break it. 10 years. Yeah, it'll be, oh God, it'll be 10 years in August.
Okay, well
No, I only did it to focus on my career. That's it. Yeah.
And
I'm gonna break it. I'm gonna break it. Trust me, I'm gonna break it real good.
I think sex is wonderful. I really do. In fact, just earlier today, I was thinking there are people that don't like to talk about sex. Sex can be so dirty. It can be so hurtful and so triggering to people because of the dirtiness that that has been associated with it and the things that people do with it.
Yeah.
But then I don't have necessarily those experiences. And I was thinking today, I was like, you know what's a good night for me? A good night does include sex, but not just the physical act, the intimacy.
The intimacy.
Intimacy is one of my favorite things. That's what I realized today.
Yeah.
So I would love to, on an ideal, if I could have a dream night, it would include intimacy that includes great conversation.
Yeah.
Some great food.
Yes.
And maybe some intercourse as well.
Yes. It's an experience.
And there's nothing dirty about that in my world.
No.
And so I don't have a problem talking about it. So
yeah, I love that. No, I love that. For so long, this is also a great thing to talk about on your show, because for so long we were stigmatized because of sex. It was, oh, well, you're having sex and that's not the right way to have it. This, that, and the other. And I can just say this, I talk to everybody. So I talk to our porn stars in our community. I talk to everybody. And, it's so amazing to see, like, I've spoken to men that identify as heterosexual and completely straight, that love, being penetrated, that love the same kind of attention, I'll say, that we love. And people, and I love talking to them because it's so funny to watch the brain of the world break.
Yes.
Because it's like, well, how can he like this? He's gay. He likes that up there. And it's like, no, he's got children. He's got a wife. He loves what he does, but he loves this. He's sexually free. He's free.
He's human and he's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal to have human desires, to want your body to be pleased in different ways. We're all human. We're all the same. I'm convinced of that.
Yes, I am too. You really did. You owe me one more word. One more word.
This is so cheesy, but love, to me, is something that is a real thing. It is not a contract.
Yes.
It is not, I give you this and then you owe me that.
Yeah.
It is something that you can feel
in
the atmosphere. And it's just so pleasant to be in an atmosphere of love. I'm talking real love when you know that you are just embraced.
Yes.
There's no conditions. There's no judgments. You are just seen, embraced fully for who you are. That is real love. It is not, a partner that's never cheated on me because he loves me or she loves me. Oh, no, that's lust, Henny.
Yeah.
That's lust. Okay.
I want to say something to you. From the moment you stepped on this screen, you came on this screen, you have been doing nothing but radiating beauty and joy and positivity and light. You are a beautiful human being. You have a beautiful face and a beautiful soul and a beautiful laugh, a beautiful way of thinking. And I need you to know that. I don't ever want you to forget how beautiful you actually are, because that's what you're perpetuating in this world. You're showing this world the beauty that can exist when we free ourselves from these conformities.
Yes.
You are absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna leave you alone, but that was spirit telling me that. I'm gonna just leave that alone. But yes, you are absolutely beautiful. Everything about you, it literally just translates. It just translates and it comes right off of you. And everywhere you go, people are going to see it. Everywhere you go, people are going to feel it. Everywhere you go, people are going to notice you, because you're so beautiful. And I mean internally and externally. There's something divine about you. I can see it, like literally, it's like the divine has you going through the world and there's a light above your head. Not a halo, a light, literally like a light bulb. Just actually not even a light bulb, an orb. I'm seeing like an orb of light. And you're just walking around and people get it. They don't notice the orb, they notice you. They notice you. Such a beautiful person. Absolutely. Please remember that. Okay, that's enough. All right. Tell everyone where we can find you on social media.
You can find me at Celebrity Aaron on all social media platforms. On Instagram, I'm at Celebrity Aaron. On TikTok, I think I'm at Celebrity Aaron or at Aaron Johnson Levy. I don't really go on TikTok. I'm mostly on Instagram, a little bit on Twitter, also at Celebrity Aaron, YouTube, Celebrity Aaron.
Yeah.
I do live streams on Facebook.
Yes.
Aaron Johnson Levy is my name, so you can follow me if you're interested in that. I do like karaoke.
Yes.
They're just a group of people that come and watch, and we just joke, and sometimes I'll have some drinks and just act a fool.
Yes.
Enjoy, put my costumes on, my makeup, and dance and sing.
Yes.
I'm not the best singer, but I am the best performer. How about that?
Yes, that's right. It's about performance. It's about performance. That's right. I'm like, honey, it don't mean nothing if you just standing there. You're just standing there. No, bust a move. Bust a move. Thank you so much for coming today and chatting with me. This will be out tonight.
All right.
Literally, this will be out tonight. Don't go anywhere just yet. But ladies and gentlemen, you have heard the vocal stylings of Aaron Johnson Levy. Remember the name. All right. Say goodbye to the people, but don't go anywhere.
All right. I'll see you all on Fox Soul.
Yes, on Fox Soul, Friday nights. And is it 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock Eastern time, 6 o'clock Pacific time, and then it uploads to YouTube on Saturday afternoons, I think around 2 p.m. Eastern time. And yeah, that's, share the YouTube video, watch it live. If you watch it Friday night, we are in the chat.
Yeah.
If you go to the Fox Soul live YouTube post, they post their content live on their YouTube, on the Fox Soul YouTube channel every Friday night. So we are in the comment section and interacting and laughing about what's going on. It's really fun. It's the highlight of my week. I mean, it's not just watching the show, but interacting with everyone watching the show. It's really a lot of fun.
Yeah. Oh my God. So amazing. Thank you. Hold on one second. So did you enjoy? I hope you did. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to cash at me at the Queen of Shade. I am your favorite content creator, right? Right. You want to see more of this content, right? Right. Cash at me. I love you. Mwah.
I've got my black stilettos on. Don't you make me take them off. I'm assuming first position. Wanna show you I'm a boss. I've been given 60 seconds just to put my thing down. I'll have you wanting my stilettos by the time I turn around. Turn that TV down.